think I'm frying myself today with the welding. I've been doing a lot of fucking tacking. Well, I guess I can't swear on YouTube, can I? Oh, can you? Oh, good, fuck. So Brandon has, I helped Brandon this morning and we fitted all the eyebrows and we fitted all the head skin and used straps, and we got the head all sucked down, and he's got it all welded out now. And everything's cleaned up, ready for polishing. Looks amazing, eh? Yeah, well, it's been going good. Brandon's been working his butt off. You see Brandon? He got his hair all shaved off today, yeah? So, anyway, we were going to start on the gums today, and then I noticed that this eyebrow still needed all the finishing work, so we had to do some trimming, clamping, bending, tacking, welding. And then the head, up on the top, the two skins were like, they weren't fitting very well, and they were lifted up quite high and no way of clamping them. So we ran a strap right around the head, and we put some dunnage down and put a leather glove underneath the wood. And we used the power of the strap and the wood to push the material into place. And it worked out awesome. So Brandon's welded that out all day today. He's got it all cleaned up, and now he's moving on to the mouth. So the big job now, and I'm so glad it's him, is welding the inside of the mouth. So up inside here, I did a lot. So I did actually a lot of welding on the inside of here to get it strong. This up inside of his roof of his mouth is all tacked. So Brandon's going to have to come along and triple or quadruple up the tacking. So the tacking is roughly every 2.5 inches. We want to get the tacks down to about a 1/2 inch all the way around, and get everything tacked at a 1/2 inch. And then we can go ahead and do the welding in here. And then we're going to start, if not tomorrow, Monday, we're going to start cutting and shaping all these little gum pieces. And each one from tooth to tooth is a piece of gum. And then from tooth to tooth is another one and another one all the way along. And we'll fit all of those in, hammer them down into place. And then we can weld all the way around the teeth and all the way around the gums. And just, that'll lock in the teeth, and it'll give that nice finished look around the teeth. And obviously get rid of the yellow paper. And then once we're done that stage, we'll be putting the tongue in. And that's the end of the head. Once the tongue's in, then that's it. We're finished the T-Rex. So if it really gets tough, we might rig out some kind of platform that goes in here where he could kind of lay on his back and get a little further into reach. And then the sides, you kind of have to just work from side to side. And even if it's, it can be very painful, like contortioning into weird positions and difficult. So that might be over a series of a few days or even a few weeks, just to do a little bit at a time, go back and visit it, do a little bit more, go back and visit it. Some of these are actually sharp, so he's got to watch out for these, because I did make some of these pretty tootin' darn sharp. And you can definitely impale yourself and split your head open on those. On top of everything else, Brandon's caught up with us, and he's got all the tail welded out. We just have the tip of the tail to do and the belly of the tail, and the tail's all done. He's welded out, I think, most of the arms. So the arms are almost all welded. A little bit of work on the back of the elbow there. And then all the body panels are welded as well.
Attempting to get this into place right now. Like, I've got it like clamped on right now, but usually what I'll do is I'll like clamp it on, and then I'll see the spots where it's still really tight around the tooth, and then I just grab a Sharpie and kind of mark out the areas that still need to get ground down a little bit more, and then I basically pull it off, grind it, try and fit it up again, and then usually that'll get it into place. But yeah, the hard part is these teeth that are coming around the corner here. You're kind of working against like multiple angles, because you're turning a corner, but you're also dealing with like the width of the tooth coming up, and you want to make sure that it's wide enough to get up to the top of the tooth, but not so wide that when it's up there, like you're going to have a big gap that you have to weld, because then you're going to have a huge doubly weld on there. So it's kind of like a lot of like finicking, you know, taking it off, putting it back on, and grinding a little bit more, and just doing just enough to the point where it's like not too much. But yeah, I've definitely had to. There's been a couple, like this one here for whatever reason was the most challenging, and I think it's just because of the width of this tooth. It gets so much bigger at the top, and because it's around the corner, like it just makes it really challenging. So last Monday, what I did first is I went inside and I tacked all of the metal in there that was already fit up. So it's all tacked every half an inch now, and it's ready to be fully welded when I get to that. And then I started taking the templates off the bottom side of the teeth, and I've completely done all of those now. It was a lot easier just because it's you know, flat and it's kind of right in front of you. I think I finished that on Friday of last week, and then I've since then been working on the top up here. And then once the top's completely done and that's all fit, then I just get to go in and completely weld everything solid. And that's kind of like, I think it's probably going to be like the hardest in terms of like positioning on the T-Rex, just because you're doing so much weird overhead. And like, I don't know, the main thing about welding to get a nice weld is like you need to be like comfortable. If you're comfortable, you just have way more control over everything you're doing. So like that's going to be the hard part, is like getting comfortable in here and being able to use both my arms properly. A big help is using that TIG torch that we have with the slider switch on it, because that makes it way easier to control your heat rather than trying to like screw around with the foot pedal while you're doing all of this. And then also for like the areas in the back where it's really far away, what I've been able to do, you take a long piece of filler metal, you can kind of just lay it into the joint like this, and then you don't need to have both your arms up tight like there. And then you just need your one arm with the torch, and you kind of just lay wire it in and maneuver over top of it and just push in with the filler wire in your other hand. It makes it a little bit easier, but in terms of like positioning, it's probably the most difficult position that I've had to weld in, because it's like a combination of horizontal and overhead, and you're standing on a ladder, and it's, you know, stainless, which is already challenging to weld. So yeah, what I'm doing now is just marking out, like you can see it's touching right there and touching right there, and it's not quite up at the top, so I just kind of need to trim these areas down a little bit more. And it's kind of tight in there, so yeah, and then I pull it off. This is one of the gums that goes around the teeth. So yeah, and then I pull it out, grab my grinder. Just took off a little bit of material. Like the key is not to take too much off, because then you're left with a big gap. So it's kind of better to like take a little bit off, see if it fits, and then try it again. But obviously it takes a bit longer that way, but you know, you get a better end result. So now I put back out. Yeah, that fits way better now. So now that it's fit good, use a clamp to hold it in position. So usually I'll fit the front side of it, and then I'll go and do the back side after. And what I do is like I'll look for any spots like this where it's super tight, and I know that I can just grab the torch and just fuse it there without even adding any filler, just to get like a first stamp on there. Now, this is the thumb slide switch. So yeah, I was able to tack it there just because when it's nice and tight up against the metal, if there's no gap, you're able to just kind of fuse it, and it makes it a lot easier, because then you're able to use both hands to hold the torch rather than having a piece of filler in there as well. The other side just needs to come up a little bit. So now it's nice and tight up against the top. Just have a little filler on this one. So yeah, now that that's tacked in, I kind of just have to do the final touches. Like, I'll probably just have to trim a little bit off of there, and then clamp that inwards, and then go in on the back side now, and get that to be nice and tight up against the top. And I'll probably just end up using a clamp there, and do the same thing, and kind of just hammer it up with a screwdriver. And you just hit it right on the edge with the screwdriver. It doesn't really leave any dents or anything noticeable. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, you can see here, it's kind of got a little bow in it. So we've got this air cutter tool, which works really well for getting in here, but it's a little awkward, but I still am able to get it in here, and I'm just gonna have to trim, like, I don't know, about 1/8 of an inch off there just to make it fit properly. But that's kind of just like the process I've been doing on all of them. You don't really know, like this front side is perfect, so I don't want to take it off, but I'm able to like get in here and just trim it on the back. And then once I do that, it should be like totally good in there.
It's close, but I would work on it a bit more before you try welding.